The New Guys, Day of the Jackass is the latest point-and-click adventure game from Wadjet Games, the developer of other indie adventure games like Gemini Rue and the Blackwell series, which I reviewed and really enjoyed a few months ago. With this track record of fun and clever adventure games, I was interested to see how The New Guys turned out. The game seems to be ditching the classic look of past Wadjet games in favor of a more cartoon style, while putting a larger emphasis on humor and silliness. While I personally prefer games that strike a balance between taking themselves seriously and being funny, I did find myself having a good time with The New Guys.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Wrestle Zone. And now, competing for the Wrestle Zone title, The New Guys.
The New Guys are a team of wrestlers that compete at WrestleZone. The team consists of 3 members: Brain, the egotistical, slightly incompetent one; Simon, the biggest and strongest of the bunch but also sort of lazy; and Defender, the straight man in the group and the one you spend the most time playing as. The game begins with Brain having stumbled into a title win and promptly being kidnapped, along with his title belt.
I'm gonna kick your ass so hard that when you sit down, you'll actually be standing.
Man, I won this thing fair and square. Okay, maybe I cheated a little.
Defender sets off to search for clues in hopes of finding Brain, and Simon later joins in to help him. While the plot is initially just trying to rescue Brain, more becomes of it as the game goes on, and overall, the story was good enough to maintain my interest throughout the game, which took me around 5 hours to complete. While the basic plot is decent, what really makes this game worth playing is the humor. The game does not take itself seriously in any way, and is definitely a comedy through and through. Luckily, the writing is excellent and most of the jokes work. I found myself chuckling with frequency and even laughing out loud every once in a while. The characters work really well off each other, and they avoid getting into the everyone is an idiot, it's funny realm that a lot of comedies, game or otherwise, resort to. The game keeps its humor fairly clean and doesn't get overly referential either, except for one pretty great Symphony of the Night reference. So really, anyone can enjoy the story and humor in The New Guys.
So, we meet again, Brain.
Smiley, I shall banish you from this ring.
You seek to destroy me?
Wrestling ill needs a villain such as you.
Have at you!
The New Guys is 100% an adventure game, with really nothing new to add to the genre in terms of gameplay and design. This is the type of adventure game where you simply click everything you can, and you'll be picking up random objects that seem completely obscure and out of place, only to find some use for them later. The puzzles range from clever to head-scratchingly obscure. There were some puzzles that I was genuinely proud of myself for solving, while others were solved by simply trying to use every object in my inventory on a person or object, until I found the one that worked. I was a bit disappointed with the more obtuse puzzles in this game, given how natural and organic the puzzle solving felt in the Blackwell games. The New Guys is a video game and it knows it. This is the type of adventure game where logic is sometimes your enemy, and when I stopped thinking too hard and just started trying to combine all my items or use every item I had in the environment, I usually found solutions to problems that were eluding me. There are a few points in the game that change up the gameplay a bit, like a top-down stealth section that almost resembles Metal Gear, and a late-game car chase. These parts are very brief and are a decent enough change of pace.
Just because we're giving chase, my friend, doesn't mean I'm going to drive dangerously.
Come on, is that all you've got?
The graphics are definitely a departure from past Wadjet games, and I think this was ultimately a mistake. The classic adventure game look of prior games from the developer may not have been the most visually impressive, but it gave the games a distinctive and nostalgic look that fit perfectly with the classic genre. The New Guys, however, goes for a more cartoon animation look, but to put it bluntly, it looks like a browser-based Flash game. The animations aren't really that great either, and there's really no getting around it. The visuals look cheap, which is really disappointing. I understand this game didn't have the biggest budget, but if they had stuck with the more classic look of their other games, I think this game would have been better for it. That's not to say it's an awful looking game, but I really expected more.
Welcome to Cosmic Burger, home of the finest food in the galaxy. Your body's in need of fuel. What'll you have today?
Even though the visuals are disappointing, the other half of the presentation, audio, definitely impresses. The voice acting is outstanding and is really the key to making the funny writing work.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special news bulletin. A high-speed pursuit is currently taking place on the freeway, and a violent car crash is a strong possibility. Luckily, Copter Steve is on the scene.
Though I did find myself questioning exactly where this game is supposed to be taking place, given that half the characters have American accents and the other half have English accents. Despite that, pretty much every character is well acted, and honestly, that's what I've come to expect from Wadjet games. I find it sort of funny that this small studio has consistently excellent voice acting, and many major big-budget games launch with such bad voice performances. The music is pretty good as well, and ultimately, the audio picks up the slack where the graphics fail to impress.
I want to get rid of him, but I don't want to poison him. Doing that would make it explode in my hands.
Though the New Guys' Day of the Jackass falls a bit short of past offerings from Wadjet games, it is still a fun adventure game and well worth playing. It may not be the most original or unique adventure game, and it does fall into some classic adventure game traps, but ultimately, the game part is there so you can experience the story and humor, which is the real star of the show. If you adjust your expectations and come into the New Guys looking to laugh, knowing you're getting a fairly standard adventure game as a delivery mechanism for the humor, you'll definitely have a good time. My final score for The New Guys' Day of the Jackass is a 7.8 out of 10. Be sure to head over to GamingIrresponsibly.com for the full written review and other reviews, news, and previews.